Going to start recording. Yeah, now let us look at how in such a position, right? Imagine now this is the position. So you are going further a few steps back and trying to see how we are going to get the king to the right corner and then mate him. First of all, do you know which corner the king has to go to? Black king has to be taken to which corner? White corner. Yeah, means A8 square, right? A8. So how do you go about doing the A8 square? Okay. So you have got the king on the last rank, which is all very good. Now you have to make sure that he doesn't come up. Okay, very important. Yeah, start with bishop to h7. Right? Bishop to h7, start. Okay. So that the king does not come to g8 again. Okay, so king can only go to e8. So let the king go to e8. Then knight to e5. Knight to e5, see what it is controlling is it is controlling the d7 square. Okay, so that is very important. You don't want the whatever you move. Okay, you had one more option, but it would have kind of thing. If you had moved the king to e6, then black king would have gone back to f8, right? So sometimes you will think. So it is important that you move the knight and knight in such a way that it is controlling the escape square of the second rank, which is d7. Okay, so king will go to d8, right? King will go to d8. If king goes back to f8, then we know what is to be done. Okay, there is a certain things you can check it yourself, but first I will just demonstrate the this. So this we come back with the king. Okay, now is the crux moment. Okay, because you think that now what is the black king going to escape? Is the black king going to escape now? Because it has come from the last rank, it has come to the second rank, right? King to c7. Yeah, it can go to f8. Abhinav will see that earlier when from e8 it could have gone to f8 also. So Sai Pranav, that just one king and two knights, just a king, it is not possible. You require at least black needs to have one pawn. Okay, sometimes you can using the black's own pawn, you can get him to get out of the stalemate things, and then you can checkmate him. Okay, but just as it is, if there is no pawns of anything and just two knights are there, and the other side has a king, then you cannot checkmate him. Okay.
Okay,
I
sir.
mean, there may be a way that black will blunder into a checkmate, but otherwise, even if a little bit of black is intelligent, he will not be able to allow a checkmate. Okay. Okay. Coming back to this position. Okay. Yeah. Madhura, we'll see that Madhura and Abhinav will see that what if the king goes back to f8. First, let us complete this. Okay. Then we will see. Now is the crux moment. Okay, and you think that the black king has come up and it is going to escape, but this is the harmony of the knight and the bishop comes into picture here. Knight goes to d7. Okay, and this is a very particular position. Okay, I mean the squares are all very important because the knight is controlling the dark squares. Okay, which is b6 and c5, and the white bishop will be able to control the light squares inside it or outside it and be able to force the king back. Okay, so let us see this, very important. Okay, the knight is on the light squares controlling the dark squares. Okay, and the bishop being on light square will always control only the light squares in this position. Okay, so look at it very carefully. King thinks that it is going to escape. Okay, looks like it has come from 8th rank to 7th to 6th. Okay, but what is the next move of the bishop? Very, very important. Controlling this entire light square diagonal, and the immediate next to it is the dark square diagonal which the knight is controlling. Okay, so the king is now, black king is forced back. See, it cannot come to c5, it cannot come to d5, it cannot come to b5, it cannot come to b6, it cannot come to a6. So this entire thing is blocked. So king, though it comes up momentarily, but you are able to force it back. Okay, so where can it go? it can only go to two places, right? I mean, it can go to b7 also, but let us say it wants to remain as much as possible in the center in the c7. Okay, but the moment if it goes to c7, then you will be able to get the bishop now inside the dark square diagonal. And again see now how the knight and the bishop are cooperating. Now bishop is controlling this light square diagonal, and the knight is controlling the true critical squares just outside that on the dark square diagonal, again forcing the king on to the last rank. See, now there is no option for the king. It can go to b8 also, okay, not necessarily d8, but if it goes to b8, it is even good for you because he is taken to the corner where you are finally going to checkmate him, right? Black will try to not to go to that corner, so that's why black is trying to come to d8. Okay, so this is something that happens. Okay, so you have to just understand how to deal with it, because this will necessarily happen when you are trying to get the king to the corner. Okay, at one point you will have to allow him to come up, but just seal the path going forward. So he will think that it is coming up, but after that he will have to go back. Okay, now that king has gone to d8, we come back with the king here. Okay, now king tries to go back to e8. Okay, he tries to go away from the danger corner. Okay, but now you have got either this check or even bishop g6. Bishop g6 also works. This bishop g6 check also works. Okay, in whichever way you are controlling the f7 square. f8 is already controlled by the knight. f7 you are controlling it with your bishop. This is the best way actually. I like bishop g6 because it is easier to remember. Okay, the knight is going like this and the bishop is crossways going through it, so forcing the king come to d8. King comes back to d8. Okay, they have given the position based on things, so you go back and wait in the bishop f7. Now the king cannot even come to e8. Okay, so king has to come to c8 now. When king comes to c8, the knight again goes to c5. See, that's why remember the pattern of the knight moves. The diagonal, so the diagonal where the bishop is ending, right? Here is a8. Then the squares that the knight will jump is like b7, I, d7, e5, f7. We started with f7, right? And then it went up here, went up to d7, then came to c5, right? This pattern you have to remember. Okay. So now king can decide to come to wherever. King can go to b8 or can come to d8. If the king comes to d8, then if king comes to d8, then what you will do? The knight will continue its pattern movement and go to b7. Knight will go to b7. See, bishop is controlling the e8 square, so king cannot escape from this side. So king has to go to c8 now. King goes to c8, you come back with your king, c6, seal the fate. Right, and now you will be able to do the same thing what we have seen earlier. Okay, so from this position. Okay, so let us go back and see what happened when the knight. Are you confident now you will be able to get it? Just look at this position. King has to go to b8 now. The moment king goes to b8, what you will do? See, now black plays king to b8. Then what will you do? King to b6. Correct, Abhinav, you are right. King to b6. Okay, now force. King can come to c8 after that, but then you will give the bishop check, force it to b8, and then you have got him on the b8 to a8 duel. Only two squares. Now, after that, you can move your knight, get it into the position to check, lose a move or two if required, and then deliver the final checkmate. Right? So that you will be able to do it. Fine. So let us go back. Let us go back and see knight to c5. King goes to b8 now itself. King goes to b8, then obviously your king goes to c6. King comes to a7. Very simple. You just move the bishop and force the king to b8. Now you come to b6. So now you have got the ideal position. Now it is very simple. because now the king is now in the corner of right corner and only 2 moves are there. 2 moves are important so that you don't give him stalemate. So king will go to a8. Now you can't come to knight to a6 because that will be stalemate. So you have to just miss a move, lose a move by going to bishop. Simply goes, maintains that same diagonal but goes. King comes to b8 now. So now you are ready to give the knight check and then deliver the checkmate. Okay, so how we slowly brought him to the right corner with the combination of the knight and bishop. Very, very important. Okay, fine. Now you wanted to see what happens if the king goes to f8, right? So let us look at it. This all it is provided in the in this theory. You have access to it. Okay, you can also look it again, look at it 2-3 times. But what was the starting position? Yeah, okay, before I change the position, everybody got this now, and you have got it right. How it is done. So we'll see the other variation now. Okay. So let us go back to the original position. We went bishop to h7 to escape, prevent the escape via g8. Black king went to e8. We came to knight came to e5. Now, if king had gone to f8, everybody was asking, right? What if the king had gone to f8? Right? It is natural to ask this because king does not want to go to the edge of the thing. So what do you do? So now knight continues this pattern. Okay, remember the knight's pattern. If the bishop is of light color, then the knight will go from f7 to e5 to d7 to this one. Okay. So it is all geometry you have to remember depending on the color of the bishop. So now knight will go to d7 now. Check. See, now the king cannot go to g8 also because g8 is controlled. f8 is in the check. So king is forced to come to e8. This is how you force it on the other side. Now you bring your king into e6 so that the knight is protected. So now what can the king do? King can only go to d8 now. Right? When the king goes to d8, right? What do? King to d6. Okay. Now is the crucial part. Now what do you think? If king goes to e8, then king goes back to e8, then you can give bishop g6 check also. Right? Force the king to d8 again. Right? Yeah, you're right. If king goes to e8. So king goes to e8. Either bishop g8 also you can go or bishop g6 also. Okay, they have given bishop g8, which is okay. It is also controlling the f7 square, so not allowing him. So black king is forced to come to d8. Now you lose a move, but prevent him from coming to e8. So now the king goes to c8. Now the knight moves up and controls the b7 square. Okay, king goes back to d8. No problem. I will go to b7, check him, force him to come to away to c8. Now I will get my king up here. So now d8 and e8 both are not accessible to the king. So now only two things that are left as. So first he has to come to b8 now. Now I don't want him to come to b7 because then again it will start creating. So that's why I come with my king to b6. Okay, and then what we had seen earlier, bishop e8 or bishop e6 check, and now you are going to give it. Okay, you got it. Now Madhura, you were asking what happens if the king goes back to f8. See, you have to use the knight in the right way to control and get him back to the corner where you want him. Okay, got it. It's not very easy. Okay, you have to go through it multiple times to get it, but the good part is that all of it is explained here. So you will be able to do it. And as I said, I'm in the process of enabling this course for everybody. Maybe in a by today, tomorrow, or by Tuesday, everybody would have got access to this course. I'm just getting it. Okay. So please go through this. And if now that you get this, now the next position is, I think it is simple. I think. Yeah, it is just explaining how the knight moves. If this is the pattern when the bishop is of a8 color, okay, or the bishop is the light color. So you'll have to just turn the thing around. If I have got a bishop which is of dark color, then the knights will have to, first of all, the corner will also change, and the knight position will also change. Instead of going like this, it will be at the knight, if at all this is the direction, the seventh rank along which you are getting it, then you will have to get it from where we'll have to get it from. We will have to get it from c7 to d5 to e7 to f5 to g7. We'll have to get the knight along those squares if the I have the bishop is of dark color. Okay, then I will want to bring the king to h8 and then checkmate him. Okay, so it is kind of like mirror image. Okay, but this is how it will move. Okay, remember this, try this out. See, the best way whether to see, the good part about end games is that you can always play against the computer, and you know it is a thing. So now you can just put yourself, give yourself a knight and a bishop, place it arbitrarily anywhere, or right now you don't place it arbitrarily, place the black king on the last rank, and then see whether you are able to play against the computer with it. Okay, computer will be very good. Even the slightest mistake you do, it will exploit and it will escape. But if you are able to consistently defeat the computer with the starting position that we discussed here, yeah, take this as the starting position, number 9. Yeah, this is the starting position. You take it, master this part against the computer. Once you do it, then we go to the second master position to get it. Okay, this is how you will understand it. Not, I mean, internalize it, not understand it. Okay, all right, cool. So if this is clear, then so do this exercise and then go to the practice session, and also practice out whatever is there. Start with the major pieces, rook, but then also do with the queen and the two bishops. Okay, then go to the bishop and knight. Right now, don't immediately go to the practice puzzles, but finish these other puzzles first. Okay, all right. So the next session we are going to discuss, next session next week, we are going to start and understand when the king is not in the corner, king is in the center, then also how do we get it. Okay, when we do that, then only the end game is complete of the bishop and knight. So that we will do it in the next week. All right, fine. So now let us go turn our attention to the two positions. Okay, I have given 4 positions to study, but we will discuss this week 2 positions, and next week we will discuss 2 positions. Okay, okay, I put the position on the board. I hope everybody can see this. Study position 1. Right, what is the best move for black to play? Oh yo, I did not yo, okay, it is black to move, sorry. Nandan is saying queen to b2, but Madhura is saying queen to b1 check, right? Madhura suggested. So let us see what happens. Anybody else, any other thing who has looked at it? Okay, what I'm going to do is, you can unmute. I think we are now not too many participants in the L2 course, so it is okay. So you can unmute and you can talk also, not just chat. Yeah, so queen
It's queen to b1.
queen to b1. You also think to queen to b1 and then queen to f1, right? Obviously, queen will want to go to f1, right?
So then rook to d1.
Rook to d1.
No, then white.
Rook
will
c8
checkmate.
checkmate.
White will checkmate. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, remember? See, while you are trying to checkmate, you can also get checkmated. Okay, I had changed the notation because I was teaching the L3 class about advanced notation. So I had changed it to the descriptive notation. Let me go back to the Figurine algebraic notation. Okay. Wait. I don't want the dashes, right? It kind of irritates. In the descriptive notation, it is okay, but not in the figurines. Okay. Yep. So queen b1, queen f1, then
Queen takes a2.
huh?
Queen takes a2.
Queen takes a2. So you get a pawn, okay, and you kind of become a what you call. Probably you'll do something like this, or you get into an equal end game, right? You will make escape for the king, so that, and probably black will also do this because both of them don't have the back rank threats, and after that it will continue, right? It will probably continue for a long time, and maybe an equal game also, right? So queen b1, it leads to almost equal game only. Do you see any advantage, Madhura, coming out of it? Yeah, you may take the pawn. That's okay. But it's 4 pawns or what? I think 3+1, 3+1. Yeah, there is a remote pass pawn, but the rook and the queen on the board, it is very difficult for you to this one, right? But did you see any major advantage? I think you were showing something where queen versus rook, etc. But Madhura, is that a thing? No. Yeah, that variation was wrong. Anybody else before I go to Nandan's suggestion? Any other move for? Okay, now then let us go to Nandan's suggestion. So Nandan, queen to b2. What is the threat now? Obviously, you are threatening the c3 rook, right?
Yeah.
So what all can white do? Rook to c2. Rook to c2 is now losing because queen to b1 check. Now what will happen?
So then
F1 and rook queen
queen,
takes c2.
Yeah, queen.
so then black will capture the c2 rook.
Correct. And if you are a rook up, obviously you will win, right? So rook to c2 is not a good. What about queen to d1? Is it okay? It is defending.
So then white can capture.
You just simply take the rook, right?
rook.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because there is a back rank. There is a back rank, right? There is a back rank.
black mates like this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So what can white do? Can white do this? This is also not a.
No, you just do queen b1 check.
Queen to b1, right? Queen to b1 will win. Right? Queen to b1 will win it. Right?
Yes, sir.
So no matter what you do, you can do rook d1 or you can do queen f1, whatever that you do, you are going to lose a rook. Right? So this is not possible. What else is possible? Rook to b3.
You can take the queen.
Oh, he is taking the queen. So obviously the queen is also attacked, right? So you have to remember the two things that are
What if queen d3?
What if queen d3? Okay, first of all, obviously queen takes queen is not working because of the back rank checkmate, right? I hope all of you got it, right? Black is offering the queen only to lure away from the back rank threat. That is why queen to, but with queen to b2, it is threatening both the rook and the queen, but saying that you can take my queen if you want. But obviously, so what were you saying? Sorry,
Sir, how about rook c8?
rook to c8. Rook to c8. Okay. So what?
Queen b1 check.
Queen
King.
b1 check.
Queen f1.
Queen f1.
And queen takes queen.
King takes
And
and
rook
then you,
takes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody was suggesting something. I think before I think rook
d3.
rook to where? a3. Huh? No.
No, queen d3.
Queen d3. Okay. Queen to d3. Very nice. Okay. So when
Queen
queen to
takes rook.
queen takes rook will become a checkmate, right? Down the line. So what do? We do queen to a1 check. Now,
So now whatever white does will be a checkmate.
no, whatever white does not necessarily steal a checkmate, but white is losing a rook,
Yes, sir.
right? Because
Yeah.
if queen goes to f1, then you will take the rook. If rook goes to here, then it doesn't help anyway. Queen to d8, d1 does not help, rook to c1 does not help, right? So queen to d3 is also not working. Any other move? So many options we are trying for white. What about queen to d1? No, it is immediately checkmate, right? Queen to d1 is immediately checkmate. Sorry. Rook to d3, we already saw. Queen to b1 followed by this, right? Any other tries for white? King to f1, okay. Very interesting. That's why I like all these ideas, okay. King. So what do we do for king to f1?
Queen takes c3.
Queen takes c3. Correct. Rook up. So king to f1 also. So that because your queen and the rook, both of them are threatened. So it is like a thing, right? Is there any other way that the rook and the queen can protect each other? No. I think we have tried everything.
Queen c4.
Queen c4. Oh, interesting. Let us try this out. Queen to c4, right? But what happens is,
So then rook to d1, and you have to sacrifice your queen
yep,
and the rook.
and the rook also. Right. So queen b2 was the right move. Okay, queen b2 was the right move, and this is coming from a very famous game by Capablanca. Capablanca against, I forget who was the opponent, but this was this position was there, and black could have won a pawn, but Capablanca, you know Capablanca. Do you know, all of you know Capablanca? Jose Raul or Jose Raul Capablanca, as they will say it in America. Okay, he was the third world champion. Okay, and a very, very fine player. He was a natural player, what you will say as a natural talent, right? He used to never get into any complications very simply, and he used to always win in the end game. He had a natural ability for the end game. He was a world champion between 1921 and 1927. Okay, but he was a very fine player. Probably from 1913-14 onwards, he would have been world number one. And even after 1927, he would have been world number one for at least for another 3-4 years. Okay, but he did not get a chance to replay the world championship match. But very uh, great player, one of the greatest of all times. Okay, so queen to b2 is the move here. See, we have so many options we have seen here, right? None of the option is working, right? It doesn't work. So that's what. And this is what I call the genesis is always, this is a complicated example of back rank mate. Okay, I mean the threat is always the back rank mate and everything is built around it. Okay, so this position you study it very deeply to understand what it means for. See, so many options we took it, and there was always some case of either a mate was happening or with a check and a double attack you are winning a rook, right? Which it is very important to go through this, whatever options we studied. Okay, you go through it and remember and try to do it yourself. Try to look at all the options and do it yourself.
Sir, I have another option.
Okay,
Sir, rook c8.
rook to c8. I think we saw this, right? Queen a1. Queen b1 also, a1 also doesn't matter. We saw this, queen f1, queen crosses f1, followed by then the rook is falling because king has to take the queen and then the other rook falls, right?
Okay, sir.
So we saw this. Okay, very quickly I will go to the second position that I had shown. What was the second position? Okay, I will try to set up this position. Let me see if I remember it enough. Clear board. Black had these pawns, and this pawn. White had this. There was a white knight here. There was a black knight here. There was a black king here. There was a white rook here, and not. The rook was on c5 or. Yep, it was on c5, right? And it was white to play. Okay, so this was white to play. Second position. Okay, rook crosses f6. Fine, rook crosses f6 is good move. Why it is not allowing me? Okay, what did I? Oh, it is white to move. Okay, I'm making it. Rook takes f6. Okay, but what is the black's best response? What you would play as black? Rook crosses c3, correct, right? King takes f6 and all is losing straight away, right? So you have to do this, right? Now what? Now what? Rook crosses f7. Yeah, this is the best option for white. And now king has to take two thing, because if king does not take the rook, then one more pawn will fall. So king has to take the rook, and now you will take this black's rook also. Now what about this position? Yeah, you did all of that, okay, but was it right for you to do it? What can you evaluate this position from the endgame principles? Just let us just try, and what will happen? Let us just start thinking. White has got 3 pawns on the inside, okay, but one of them is doubled, so it is like a broken this one, right? If he had, if there was no doubled pawns, if the pawn was on b2 for white or b3, wherever, right, it would have been a clear advantage for white. But now that it is doubled, what about it? Can white create a pass pawn on the queen side? no, let us think about it analytically. Okay, can white create a passed pawn on the queen side? The answer is no, because with the double pawns he will not be able to create it. If there were no double pawns, then he would have been able to force one passed pawn there. Okay, black has got one passed pawn, but it is in the center of the board, right? So obviously both the kings are going to be there in the center for blocking and for operations. So black, you can say that black has got a passed pawn, but it is definitely not going to queen, because white king is going to block it. Now, so how do we evaluate this position? What about on the king side? Can white create a passed pawn on the king side? Yeah, Tejas, you are right. Using, see, it was very, very important. Okay, see now, there are a lot of small things to be remembered. Now, because white has got a connected G and H pawn, while black only has got a H pawn, white can force a passed pawn on the king side. And now remember, but black also has got a passed pawn in the center, and white has got a passed pawn on the king side. Now, does this click you? Some of the things that we had studied in level 3 endgame principle. If both have got passed pawn, so ideally it is equal position, right? Both of them, both the kings will try to block each other's passed pawn. Do you remember something called as remote passed pawn? Huh? Remote passed pawn. Yeah, no, I think just and you have to analyze. See, remote passed pawn. Whites, see, remember all those positions that we had seen in level 2 or level 3 with remote passed pawns, right? So what is going to happen is white's passed pawn will be remote because it will be on the other side of the board from the where the other action is. So black king will have to go to block it, but he will be on the other side of the board, and white king will then be earlier to the queen side, and he will mop up. Okay, he will mop up the pawns, and then finally he's going to win it. Okay, in the next class I'm going to actually play this against you, but I will just leave it with the fact that, see, what there was one more option. White after, see, remember, rook takes f6, rook takes c3. What if white had taken this? What if white had taken it? Black would have taken the rook, white would have taken the rook. Now this position,
Black is winning.
black is probably winning this, not just a draw. Forget about white winning. There is no chance because white cannot create a pass pawn on the king side. Neither can white create a pass pawn on the queen side. Black also has not got a pass pawn, but these double pawns and black king is ahead in the center. White king is going to take some more time. So black king is going to reach in 2 moves here, and he's going to kill one of the pawns. There's no way you can defend it. And after that, probably even this pawn will fall.
Sir?
Yeah?
The meeting is about to end in less than 1 minute. Should we rejoin?
No. I think we are done. So I'm going to stop the recording now. But remember, so a small difference here between which pawn you take makes a very big difference to the outcome. Instead of white winning, this would have been white losing. Okay. But you have to be able to sense this and